Hey Max. I don't feel well right now. I'm sorry, but I can't come into work today.
Did you get cough or something?
Yeah, kind of that. My temperature now is a little high. I feel way under the weather at the moment. My head is killing me. So, I don't think I'll be able to come into the office. It's better that I stay home and get a bit of extra sleep.
I understand that you're sick, but you do know what day it is today, right?
Let me guess, you're gonna bring up that little business meeting we have.
It's not just a little business meeting. You do know how much money is at stake here. Can you just push through your headache a little bit and just come into work?
Hey Max, have a bit of sympathy. If you were sick, I'd happily take over your duties for the day.
I mean, if it was just the everyday tasks, I wouldn't mind, but this is really important. Have you even let the managers know that you're not coming in today?
Yeah, of course. I've done that according to the sick leave policy. I was given the okay by everyone. They said that you were coming into work today so they'd be able to pile my workload onto you. Hope you represent me well.
Well, I'm glad everyone came to me first to ask me if it was okay. I've already got files up to my neck that I have to sort out. Now I have to take on yours as well? This must be a joke. Just come into work already.
Max, be a good boy and just sort it out for me. It's just one day out of your long life. So stop making such a big fuss about it.
I'll do it just this once, but there won't be a second time. This is a very important meeting today. I can't believe that you aren't attending. If I had to guess, you knew this meeting was coming and didn't want to attend. So I bet you're just playing hooky and sitting at home all comfortable. Am I wrong, Harrison?
You can say whatever you want. I'm sick, so it's my right to stay at home.
Just make sure this doesn't happen again. Especially for next time, okay?
Alright, I got it.
This meeting is quite important, but it's nothing compared to what we have on the horizon. I don't want you letting everyone else down again, understand that?
You are talking about $2 million deal? I'd be insane to leave something of that magnitude as someone with your experience. Don't worry about that, Max. I'll be sure to do my part in that meeting. It'll be a nice little trophy to show our superiors.
Why don't you just do your part in all meetings? Honestly, someone with your experience shouldn't be pulling something like this. What type of example are you setting for the younger employees? I'm amazed they don't just fire you already. I mean, what exactly have you done for this company in the first place?
Watch your mouth, Max. Let me remind you that I'm well above your stature. You mustn't talk to your senior that way.
Well, we'll see how long you remain senior. At the rate you're going, they'll kick you out of this company soon. I hope you can recover from your sickness. Not that you being back here will be any benefit to this company.
You better start talking to me more respectfully if you know what's good for you, Max. You're representing me in that meeting, so do a good job of it. I don't want to have to file a complaint for your complacency.
Don't worry, between the two of us, I'm the only one working here. I'll cover your part and then some. Okay. So we're approaching the day of the big negotiations. I need to confirm that you're actually coming.
Hey Max. How are you doing? What are you talking about? I don't know why you're pestering me about something like that.
Well, let's take a look at your track record. The most recent meeting, which was also very important as a prime example. You played hooky and didn't attend. So what's the likelihood of you doing the same thing again? We aren't in a position to risk that happening.
The likelihood is 0. There's no past data to show there's a chance that I might play hooky tomorrow. The reason being that I didn't play hooky. I was genuinely sick. For someone who has only recently entered this company, you have a really curt way of talking to your superiors. I'm someone who has worked here for a long time. So, I know the type of young bloods that get weeded out.
Well, if they've taken this long to get rid of someone like you, I'm confident I'll be able to stay here much longer. Our team is under a lot of pressure from the higher-ups. I would even say that our jobs are on the line. If we stuff something this important up, it's not going to end with a simple lecture from the man on top. So I need your assurance that you're going to be there tomorrow. Can I trust you? Do you feel better today? You've had more than enough time for your headache to heal. I want you to be mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow, okay?
I feel great actually. I woke up and was able to make my own breakfast, went out for a jog and even got to hit the gym a little bit.
Well, it's good to know that that's what you do when you take a day off of work. So I can expect you here tomorrow then?
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm sorry. You just said you're feeling great. Give me your word that you're gonna be here.
Look, I feel great now, but who knows what's gonna happen to me in the morning? Do I look like a fortune teller to you?
What are you talking about? Can you just stop being so stupid and promise me that you'll be here? No matter what condition you're in tomorrow, you're gonna be here.
Who's the boss here? Stop your whining. I'll be there if it makes you happy. I'm just playing around with you, you're such a stick in the mud.
Good. You're the leader of this team, so you should have a good impression for us. I'm counting on you. Bring your A game. We're gonna hit it big with this deal.
Max. Why don't you answer my call?
I'm here, Harrison. I'm so busy this morning, I don't even have time to look at the phone.
Okay, whatever. I know this is kind of last minute, but I have some bad news to tell you. You have to promise me not to get all flustered about it.
This is a really bad time, Harrison. Don't tell me that you're not coming today.
Well, look, sometimes these things happen. Trust me, this isn't my fault.
You can't make it to the meeting today? Let me guess, what ridiculous excuse have you made up this time?
I don't make excuses. I just happen to be incredibly unfortunate lately. Cut me some slack. I have a bit of a weak stomach and I must have eaten some weird shrimp yesterday. If I go to the toilet any more than this, I'll be redecorating the bathroom. Better that than the meeting room, don't you think? Max, you're competent enough to take my place. I'm sure we'll get through it somehow.
Harrison, I'm currently wrapped up in my own trouble at the moment. Now's not the time for your silly excuses. I just got hit by a car when I was driving through an intersection. The guy was trying to fly through a red. I've had to play it off to the paramedics that I'm fine, but my arm is really killing me. No matter what, we need to get to that meeting. I'm gonna be a few hours late, but I'm sure you can get there in an instant. I'll look past your silly excuse, but please, be there for us. We have our differences, but I need you there today.
What? What the heck are you doing? How could you do something like this on such an important day? Are you kidding me? How bad is it gonna look when the two main representatives aren't there? We can't leave this to the other members. We are the glue that keeps everyone together. You should be in there charging the meeting ahead, leading everyone to victory. Just suck it, IP. Get your butt over there now. We don't need your selfishness today.
Who's the one being selfish here? You are the senior. All that talk about leading the team is meant to be your job. Why are you trying to pass it on to me? I've been covering for you for weeks now.
When are you gonna start taking responsibility? We're a team though. So, we're meant to pull through for each other. Your body is in good enough condition to take you to that meeting. So stop feeling sorry for yourself already.
Harrison, your little food poisoning is nothing compared to my car accident. I can't just leave. I'm still conversing with authorities on what happened. I have a legal obligation to be here. I'm begging you for just today. Can you stop with the stupid excuses and just be at the meeting? Because of the two main representatives not being there, they're gonna cancel the business negotiations altogether. Do you really want to risk something like that?
What? They're going to what? You can't let something like this happen. Do you see that we'll never get another chance like this? You can't let them flush these negotiations down the toilet. Just man up and be there.
Harrison, I can't do anything in my condition. Even if I did believe you had food poisoning, it's not a good enough excuse not to be there. Trust me, if I could be there right now, I would. Right, I can see that you're not going to compromise. I'll get in contact with our superiors and tell them that the negotiations are off. I'll give them a full detailed report on what happened.
You go and do that. Make sure you don't leave out the part where you intentionally neglected to be at that meeting. I'll be at work tomorrow telling the true side of the story. You're gonna be in a whole world of hurt tomorrow. Don't bother unpacking your suitcase when you come in. In fact, if I were you, I'd get all your belongings packed up in advance.
Oh, I'll be at work. I don't know if I'll be seeing you there though. Harrison, it's well past the time that you were meant to clock in and there's no sight of you. Is it safe to assume that you aren't going to be here today?
Cut out that snarky attitude.
What?
You have no idea what type of condition I'm in. This food poisoning only gets worse. I must be excreting my own guts out at this point.
Not that I believe you, but that imagery is absolutely disgusting. I've learned a lot about you for these past few weeks, Harrison. I've come to the conclusion that you really are a coward.
Well, what makes you say that?
Let's face it, you're scared of all these meetings. If you had any shred of masculinity, you'd do what it takes to turn up. Instead, you cower in your home pretending to be sick. Even today, you're avoiding our superiors because you know they're gonna give you a good lip service for your actions so far.
I knew you were trying to do something conniving like that. So you've tried to pass the blame onto me? I don't see how this is all my fault in any way.
Come on, Harrison. I have our conversation in text to prove it. You said I could rely on you yesterday and you didn't show up.
Whatever was going to happen yesterday was your responsibility. That meeting would have been a home run if I didn't have such incompetent team members.
That's another thing that I don't like about you. We work as a team so we all share our victories and defeats together. We aren't going to be winners every day, and I expect that. But it's so convenient for you that any defeat we have is all of a sudden my fault. Then any victories we have is suddenly thanks to your leadership. You could give the rest of us a little bit of credit, don't you think? Don't you think? We are the backbone of this operation.
Trust me, the moment I eliminate you from our team, we'll have a lot more victories.
I wouldn't be so sure of yourself. The manager is already looking at ways to get rid of you. They're saying that they don't need an irresponsible individual that can't even fulfill the main requirement of attendance.
What? I'm not gonna believe something like that. I'm a very important member of this team. They'd never get rid of me.
Look at the reality, or with your track record, why would anyone want to employ you? We're done with you. I've got the head manager sitting right next to me saying exactly what I'm telling you.
What? You've got to be kidding me. So you're telling me he's taking your side? Our falling through those business negotiations isn't my fault. It's yours.
I have something to tell you about those negotiations. To be honest, it sounds quite funny.
What do you mean by funny?
The funny thing is that the person that hit me in their car was in a rush to get to a business negotiation themselves. If you're such a smart and competent individual, you should be able to guess who that was.
Let me think. Wait, no way. That can be true. That's like a 1 in a million chance. Don't say that you meet.
Yeah, you guess it right. That was one of our business partners. They were so impressed with my integrity and humbleness after the car crash. Then, they've already decided that they want to work with us. And here's the cherry on the cake. They've decided to cut us a better deal too.
That's absolutely magnificent. Good on you for pulling something like that off. There is sure to be a couple of extra digits in our bonus at the end of the year. You are truly a little rock star, Max.
I wouldn't be celebrating that early if I were you. Also, it disgusts me that you actually think that you can share the success with me. The company has already decided to get rid of you. Be realistic, Harrison. Whatever bonus we could have earned from this business negotiation isn't going to be in your pocket.
Can't believe this. You're actually right about that. Our manager just called me and gave me the news. He's actually firing me. What the heck is going on after all I've sacrificed for this company?
What are you talking about? You shouldn't be so surprised, Harrison. What do you have to offer this company if you fake your illness and sit at home all day? We don't need a slacker in this office. Everyone in this company should have their heads screwed on tight and get down to business. It's what our president values.
I'm not a slacker. I was actually sick. This decision isn't fair at all. I deserve a chance to fight my case.
Even if you were telling the truth, you should be able to take better care of yourself. I mean, you're an adult. You didn't even have the courtesy to send us a medical certificate showing that you were actually sick. Then how is anyone meant to believe you?
You don't know what's been on my plate. I've been super busy lately. I don't have time to get some stupid certificate.
Here we go again with excuses. We're done with you.
This isn't over, Max. You'll be seeing me in the office. I'll make sure to put you in your rightful place.
If you're eager to keep your job, why don't you come in today? Stop acting. I know you're not sick. If you're able to just sit on your phone typing nonsense to me, you should be able to sit at a computer and do the work.
I'm not in a state to be getting into work, but if it means keeping my job, I'll be there. I still have my long years of service backing me up. I can keep my job if that's what I please. I also know that we have a meeting today and I can't have you there stuffing it up.
Slow down there, buddy. I know exactly what you're gonna do. You want to come in and take credit for the meeting that I created? I'm not gonna let that happen. Have your discussion with the managers first and then come to me. I doubt they're gonna let you stay in this company, let alone my team. We've already had a discussion of me becoming the leader.
You really are a sneaky little dog, aren't you? Don't make yourself comfortable. I'll be there to take back what's mine. I'll even get this stupid medical certificate if that's what's necessary. I can't believe this is the way that you're paying me back after all I've done for you.
You're quite literally the worst coworker ever. You aren't my senior anymore. I don't have anything more to talk with you. So bye.
But wait. Max.
After that, Harrison rushed into the office spitting accusations of my incompetency. The manager sat there listening to him with a blank expression. He did his best to plead his case, but it was failing on deaf ears. After they reached the decision that he didn't like, he went into a rage. As I saw him being escorted out of the building, we managed to catch eyes. I gave him a sweet little smile as I flashed my new badge with his title on it. Of course, he was never let back into the company. Luckily, he is gone. My job is much better now.
Have you determined when you're going to leave us alone, you leech?
Please excuse me? Sorry, but what is the point of this? Why are you now talking to me in this manner, Natalie?
Oh my goodness. These aren't just random thoughts that occurred to me. I've always tried to be courteous and keep my feelings towards you to myself, but I just can't do it anymore. And because you don't seem to be able to pick up on any of the hints I've dropped or read the room, I decided to just say it. When are you going to stop bothering us?
If this is about moving out, I don't have any immediate intentions to do so.
So you're saying you'll continue to live with your parents? I mean, aren't you even slightly embarrassed of yourself? You are now 30 years old. And can you confirm that you don't have a fiancé? Or even a boyfriend?
Sorry, but I don't see how or why such things should bother you. They are all very personal concerns for me.
Whatever. It's not like I was asking because I wanted to know, or even because I care. The only thing that concerns me is when you intend to leave the house and stop burdening your family with your presence. I mean, haven't you realized that your entire family regards you as dead weight at this point?
My family thinks that I'm dead weight. And where did you hear that line?
Of course, no one has spoken it out, but that is only because we all understand it amongst ourselves. And, in any case, you are essentially suffocating everyone. After all, an old widow who just lingers around the house with no prospects. What else can you call such a person than a parasite?
So you call me a parasite? Tell me, where do you obtain that? Besides, why does it matter whether I live with my parents or not? Or have you forgotten that you and I share a home?
Of course, if I reside in the family home, everything is okay. After all, Basil is the heir, and I'm his wife, so it's only reasonable that I'd move in with him. But you're the older sister. You should take more charge of your life. You should have married and moved out years ago. Anyway, this house now belongs to Basil and me.
I understand your feelings, but the house still belongs to my parents.
Of course, I'm referring to the future. But if you continue to refuse to leave, they may end up handing you the house. After all, you are their eldest kid. But I like this house and want it to happen, but I don't want you in the picture.
What would you do if I decided to leave? After all, my parents are both in good health for their ages and are unlikely to die anytime soon. So, I don't think getting the house will be as easy as you think.
Oh, don't be concerned. This isn't about your parents. My only issue is with you. I'm sure your parents' assets have been dwindling over the years because you've been leeching off of them for so long.
What are the assets of my parents?
That is correct. And that means Basil's inheritance is dwindling as well. What if Basil and I decide to have children soon? So, what should we do? We'll all be destitute and living in hovels because of you, and it'll be your fault.
So you're saying that the main reason you're living with our parents is to steal their money? I don't believe you'll get what you want out of this, so I beg you to stop right now.
Naturally, they'd say something like that. To be honest, it's quite typical of someone like you. But only because you want to continue stealing from your parents and depleting their savings until they die.
I'm sorry, but whatever you think is going on in the house is completely wrong.
That's why I'm telling you what everyone is thinking. So you don't have to live this deception any longer. So you trust me, don't you? What does your family think of you? And now you want to leave, don't you?
The only thing I feel is annoyance at what you're doing right now. Anyway, I'll tell you right now that I have no plans to leave. I live at home with my parents to save money for the future. If you're short on cash, have you considered getting a part-time job? You appear to have a lot of free time.
Please excuse me? Do you honestly think I'll take this from some old like you? You are the only one who has spare time.
Actually, I'm very busy.
What kind of work could you be doing all alone inside?
Because I'm currently sick, I've been working remotely. But, in addition, much of the job may be done from home.
I have no idea what you're on about and don't care. I'm sure you're just hiding yourself in your room to play video games all day. I can tell how much electricity you consume by glancing at your monthly utility bills.
Do you truly believe that is what I do all day in my office? Just sitting on the toilet and playing video games? Anyway, Natalie, I'm afraid you're really wrong on a lot of things. Maybe you should talk to Basil about it and he can clarify things out for you. After all, it doesn't appear that you're very interested in what I'm trying to tell you.
No. You are mistaken. You're just a lonely old lady. Of course, I would never listen to anything you said.
I was scared you'd feel that way. Anyway, ask Basil and he'll explain everything.
See ya.
Do you have a minute, Basil? It's all about Natalie.
Daisy, what's up?
Well, I just think she has some strange notions about my career. She had texted me earlier, stating that I was a burden on the family.
Natalie stated this? If I'm being honest, she's been raiding my savings lately. I believe she's been acting suspiciously.
I see. But she seems to believe that I am squandering all of my parents' money. I'm not in a position to simply walk away from them. Basil, would you mind sitting down with Natalie and explaining everything to her? It would be quite meaningful to me. I really don't want things to grow much worse or more stressful around here.
I fully understand. I'll contact her tonight. I won't be home until late at night, but I'm going to have a serious conversation with her.
Thank you very much. I just think she'd pay more attention to you than she did to me. And I apologize for expecting you to do this after a long day at work. But it would mean so much to me.
Daisy! If you don't want this to happen again, you should probably simply leave.
Is that your message to me while I'm in the hospital? Natalie, do you even comprehend what you've done?
What do you mean? After all, you weren't paying attention to anything I was saying.
Was I not paying attention? So that's why you felt the need to force me down the stairs, resulting in my hospitalization? Did you realize that if I had fallen differently, I may have suffered severe injuries? I don't think anything I've done to you deserved that.
It's too bad you didn't fall differently, huh? Anyway, maybe now you'll listen to what I say. That was your final word of caution.
A forewarning? Is that what you meant? And what exactly are you attempting to forewarn me about?
Did you smack your head too hard? I'm warning you to leave the house and quit obstructing everyone else's progress. That was your final word. Now, go out!
Are you certain you're not the only one who has these thoughts?
Oh, I'm sure everyone else is on my side here. We all detest you even if you fell down the stairs. The entire family regards you as a massive parasite eating our lives away.
Is that true? Because my entire family has come to apologize to me.
What are they?
They apologize for enabling you to approach me. You realize how worried my entire family is right now?
What exactly are you talking about now? What are they so worried about? And for what do they need to apologize?
They all came to implore me not to leave the house, including my parents and Basil. And they all wanted to apologize to me for not noticing you were trying to force me out of here sooner. It goes without saying that I'll be staying with them for the foreseeable future.
No. What is the point of those jerks apologizing to you? Can't they see that what I did was for all of us?
Do you truly believe that what you did was for everyone's benefit? Are you certain you weren't thinking about yourself?
And why do you think that? All I did was try to get rid of the leech sucking on its own family.
You're the only one that speaks or thinks about me in that way. Everyone else is relieved to have me there, and because I can't work from home, I'm able to assist my parents significantly as they age.
What exactly are you on about now? You don't do anything for your parents, you're just a leech on them, right?
I've already stated that I'm not a recluse. I've been running my business while working from home.
Your business?
Have you ever paid attention to anything I've said? I thought Basil told you everything last night, but evidently not. Don't tell me you shoved me down the stairs before he could tell you everything.
Do you actually own your own business? You don't just sit in your room and play video games all day?
Contrary to what you might think, I make a good living from my business. And with it, I'm able to support my family and even pay for the house in which we've been living. How's that for a leech?
You are not providing for your family. After all, your father still works.
My father once lent money to someone he shouldn't have. It was a large loan, but my generous father agreed to make it. My family, however, lost their money as a result of this. Since then, I've worked to support and care for them.
Is that all true?
Perhaps it appeared to you that I was living with them in order to collect on their estate, but my parents don't even have that type of money to begin with. So all of your ideas are erroneous.
Wait. What's going on? So, what exactly is this? I don't believe you. You could never afford such a large home on your own.
It wasn't always this big, but I've done a lot of work on it since I moved here. My parents signed the deed over to me a long time ago so that I could easily keep up with the property taxes and such. Of course, I paid for all of the renovations. Apart from the property, I don't believe my parents have much of an estate to leave to anyone. But even if they did, I hope you realize by now that you're not going to get anything.
It's incredible that they live in such a large mansion and don't have a fragrance to their names. So, why have I been living with your parents for so long?
So you've had a rent-free home to live with utilities and food always paid for, haven't you? Perhaps you should simply be thankful for that? But to think you'd go out of your way to hurt someone who has given you so much.
But I had no intention of hurting you. It was only a heads up.
Again, a warning for what? You realize you've assaulted someone, don't you? And don't think I'll let you stay in my house for much longer.
Come on. There is no need to be so upset. It was all a giant misunderstanding. I had no idea you owned your own business. Can we start afresh as friends?
And who do you think you are to pose such a question? I will never be your friend. Get out of my house right now.
You are evicting me?
That's obvious. I cannot have such a hazardous individual in my home or around my family. Get out.
You can't just evict me. It's unjust. So, how about Basil?
Isn't that ironic? You tried to persuade me to leave by throwing me down the stairs, and now you're the one being tossed out. Just desserts.
Are you sure you're serious? You believe you can simply kick me out? What about your younger brother?
Basil is welcome to remain as long as he wants. After all, he appears to be researching how to begin the divorce process.
Divorce? Basil would never leave me. You have no idea what you're talking about.
You mean you still haven't heard from him? This was, of course, the final straw. But even before this, he recognized how you were wasting his money on yourself. Everyone now knows what a self-centered lady you are.
But I believed I was great at hiding my tracks. What tipped you off?
I believe it is best if you use this as a learning experience about not doing things you shouldn't. Oh, and I'll file a police report about what you did.
The cops have arrived. You don't have to include them.
Did you forget about pushing me down the stairs? That is a crime. Anyway, I have witnesses, so you'll have a record of this. And how will you manage as a single convicted felon once Basil divorces you?
I can't possibly have a criminal record. I'll do everything for you. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, and you were cocky previously. I don't even need to see you to understand how pale your poor face must be right now. You're getting a little out of hand, aren't you?
You're absolutely correct. I realize what you mean now, so please forgive me. It's something I'll never do again. Can't we just be family again?
We aren't related. And I don't want to see your face again.
Please do not mention that. After all, Basil and I are still married.
You'll have to discuss it with him. I'm simply informing you of the repercussions of your behavior. Anyway, I'll never see you again, so enjoy your life. Even if you have to start from scratch.
Daisy's family apologized to her, and they all still live in the house she owns. Basil, disgusted by his wife's actions, consented to kick her out of the house and began the divorce process. Daisy had heard Natalie had been arrested for her actions, but the two had never met again. Natalie had to begin her life, and she spends every day wondering about the life she could have had and regretting what she did. But it was too late for Natalie.
Hey, Morgan. What are you doing? Come here whenever you're at. Haven't you finished making dinner yet? It's taking so long for a normal housewife. You're definitely not very good in the kitchen.
Come on, Mom. I just told you before. I'm not at home today. I have some works today. I'm so busy, to be honest. I prepared your lunch so if you're hungry you can take it out of the fridge. And you can heat it up then. It's labeled for you.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself making up stories like that? Not to mention expecting your poor mother-in-law to eat cold leftovers. You really can't do anything, right?
They're not cold leftovers, Mom. I made it for you to have for lunch and you can heat it up in the microwave. And I'm not making up stories. What am I supposedly lying about?
Morgan, I know. You're a full-time housewife leeching off my son's money. You don't need to pretend you have a job or anything. The truth must be that you're out shopping or something.
What? Mom, what makes you think that? And why would I make up such a lie in the first place? Anyway, I really do have a job. You can ask your son when you see him.
I know you so well, Morgan. Do not hide it from me. I bet you're melding off about me to your dreadful housewife friends somewhere. Really, it's just terrible. If you have so much free time, then why aren't you down at the fertility clinic?
Why are you bringing that up of all things?
Although you call yourself a full-time housewife, you go out leaving the chores unfinished, you can gossip about me. And why haven't you and Peter had any children? It must be your fault that I don't have a grandchild. Do you think you should take some responsibility and do something about it? Poor Peter.
Mom, listen. Children are blessings. So I don't need to go to a fertility clinic. If it happens, it happens. And anyway, I do really have a job. Because of the company's policy, I usually work from home these days. But there are times I need to go to the office in person too. I know I've told you this before.
My son has bought such a beautiful house for the two of you to live in. But I can see it's going to waste in your hands. Aren't you ashamed to call yourself a housewife?
I don't call myself a housewife. I told you I have a job. Besides, the house is perfectly fine.
What are you talking about? Honestly, my dear son doesn't deserve such things.
Mom, what do you mean by that?
Peter's finally able to save enough to buy a brand new house after years. But his wife isn't doing anything to maintain it, just sitting around, lazily day after day, letting the place deteriorate. You really are a parasite after all.
Did Peter actually say any of that?
What?
Did Peter tell you he'd bought the house?
Of course. My son bought the house. This house is on his name. I don't even need to ask him.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, I'm about to go back on shift now. So don't expect any more messages from me until I get home. And don't forget about your lunch in the fridge. I made it specially for you. So I'm sure you can manage something.
What a cold-hearted woman you are. I don't know how Peter married a good-for-nothing woman like you. My poor son.
Whatever, Mom.
That's over, Morgan. You need to leave this house. Now. Stop leeching off my son.
Excuse me?
You're not going to conduct yourself like a proper wife. So I can't let you free vote off my son anymore. You parasite. So I demand that you leave this house.
What are you talking about? You demand that I leave? Why? I have been nothing but decent to you this whole time. And besides, you're the one who decided to come and move in with us in the first place. And now you're asking me to leave? Do you really think that is going to happen?
It's going to happen. I'm Peter's mother, you know. I have the right to decide who lives in our house.
Even though the house doesn't belong to either of you?
Again? Acting all high and mighty. How dare you downplay his achievements? He's worked for years to afford this place. You should show him some appreciation. This horrible attitude of yours is exactly why you're a parasite housewife. You can't have children and doesn't do housework. You have no worth in this world. No worth at all.
Mom, no, Taylor, what an old-fashioned attitude you have. I'm almost impressed that you can really say that with a straight face. You're not knowing anything about the situation.
Not content with badmouthing my son, so you intend to mock me as well now?
Not at all. In fact, I intend to honor your request if you so insist.
Well, you'll be leaving immediately. I feel like my luck is draining away with every second you spend in this house. So do me a favor and vacate the property as soon as possible.
Fine, Taylor. If that's how you feel, then I guess there's nothing for it. I'll be gone before you know it.
Well, it's about time. My son and I will finally be free from your burdensome presence. I've been terribly stressed out having to live in the same house with a disgusting parasite like you.
You're really crossing the line, Taylor. I've put up with you too much. This is verbal abuse.
I don't care how you feel about it. You'll be out of the house soon. My son bought the house with the money he earned. So we don't want to let parasite like you around who doesn't contribute to the house. Just leave us in peace.
Sure. I don't need to live here anymore. I'll go. You and your dear son can live together happily.
You know that, right? I'm surprised a silly woman like you can get that.
Well, I'll just sell the house then. I need the money to buy another house to live in, you know, right?
What? What do you mean? You sold the house? How dare you?
I don't want to say anymore.
Just a minute there. Explain what you meant by that. How exactly are you planning to do that?
Well, it's, in fact, my house. So if you insist that I leave, I guess that means I have no choice but to sell it. Unless you decide to leave instead. But in which case I'll probably still sell it. A beautiful house, I'm sure I can sell it pretty easily. But either way, you don't need to live with a horrible parasite like me anymore. Does that reassure you?
What? Wait a minute. What's going on? I don't get it. What are you saying? It's your house? What are you talking about? You've been talking nonsense this whole time. You must be lying to me. Don't act like this house belongs to you when Peter worked hard for years to afford it. How dare you belittle my son?
I'm not belittling anyone. I'm just telling you the truth. This house does belong to me in the legal sense.
How can that be?
I paid for it with my money. The deed is in my name.
I don't understand.
Yeah. The house you've been living in this whole time actually belongs to your cold-hearted parasite. Do you get it? Don't be so surprised. The house is my property, so if you want me to leave, you'll have to purchase it from me.
What? You say that it's not Peter's house?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. Oh, I forget to tell you something. That Peter hasn't gone to work for over a year. He's unemployed.
What?
Oh, it looks like he didn't tell you yet. At first, he did try to find another job. But he gave up when he couldn't find any. He hasn't been to a job interview or sent a resume out in months. He's been living off my money this entire time.
But I see him going out every morning. He also dress up well. How could that be true? I don't believe you.
Oh, It's up to you. You can ask you dear son to check my word. You know what? He just takes the car out and hangs out with his friends all the time. Maybe he wants to look like an employed man to hide from the reality. I know that, but I haven't said anything. I did believe that he would find a job some days. But never did I imagine being forced to leave out my house.
What?
I pay all the bills, allowances, everything. I also know that he steals my money to go down to the racetrack and gambles. He just sits in a bar until after dark, or he just spends the day playing video games at his girlfriend's house.
His girlfriends? Gambling? No, you're definitely lying. You're making things up again. My son would never do any of those things.
You could believe whatever you want to believe. But it won't change the fact that what I just told you is the truth. You can ask him. The one who's been supporting you this entire time isn't him. It is me. I've been letting the both of you live in my house. I pay for all your expenses.
This can't be happening. That Peter is unemployed, that can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. If neither of you are working, then how have you been able to afford to live?
How many times do I have to tell you? I have a job and I work from home. I've been working since before Peter and I were even married. So I have some savings. But things are different now. I can't take living in the same house with the two of you and dealing with your behavior anymore. I'll be leaving this place, so I'm going to sell the house.
I could wait to ask Peter if what you're saying is true. But if it's true, where are we gonna go? We have no income, I'm already retired. How are we going to live?
I don't have any clue, and I don't even care about this. I guess you'll have to figure that out with your scumbag son and decide for yourselves.
What? How dare you call my son a scumbag? What an awful thing to say about your own husband.
Well, it's the truth, he's unemployed now. So if I divorce him, I doubt he'll be able to pay the alimony. Since we've come to this point, I've already made up my mind to divorce him. I think his girlfriend might help him out with the legal fees.
You're planning to divorce him and sell this house? Are you being serious?
I'm serious. Why would I want to keep living here while supporting my cheating husband? There's nothing in it for me. Anyway, you should make your decision soon. Whether the two of you are going to leave the house. Or whether you will stay and buy the house from me. The housing market is still going up. So I recommend you decide quickly.
How could you do this to us? You're Peter's wife. I'll admit I didn't know anything about him being unemployed. But everyone falls on hard times in life. And as his wife, it's your job to support him when things are difficult.
Don't you realize what I did? I did support him for an entire year. Actually, I put up with all your bullying and verbal abuse. I put up with his cheating and let him gamble away my money. But this is what it's all come to you. This is the last straw, to be honest.
But you can't just force us out of the house.
Why can't I?
You're not thinking things through. Consider the situation we'll be in if you do that.
But have you two ever thought about my situation?
What do you mean?
You try to force me to leave when you thought this was Peter's house. You even didn't care where I would live. Did you think about what I would do or where I would go?
Well, you could have just gone back to live with your parents or something like that.
My parents live on the other side of the country. You didn't think about me at all. So you don't get the right to complain when I treat you the same way.
What are you trying to say?
How many times do I have to repeat myself? I'm selling the house. If you want me to leave, that means I have to sell it. Because it's my legal house. Do you understand now? I don't care where you and your scumbag son go.
Really, Morgan? How can you take such an irresponsible attitude to us? We're your family.
No, don't say that. Once the divorce is settled, you're just some other people that have nothing to do with. I'm not being irresponsible at all. Although I'm sure you turned as white as a sheep during this conversation. But I'm well past my limit, this is the action I've been driven towards. All of this is your fault. So now take what you deserve.
Please, Morgan. Please think about Peter and I a little. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm now enlightened. I beg for you forgiveness.
No, no way. I'm done. I'm done thinking about the two of you. I don't need either of you in my life anymore. No matter how you try and persuade me, I've already made up my mind.
Peter doesn't have a job right now, so how are we supposed to live? Who is going to support us?
Who know? I guess you're gonna have to get a job, you're not old enough to receive a pension.
No, I don't want to work. I just want to enjoy my life.
Well, look who's the lazy woman. So, bye now. Never contact me again. After that, Taylor found out the truth about her son. She realized that everything I told her was true. In the end, Peter was at a loss. After the divorce, he is still jobless. He's also forced to pay alimony because he'd been cheating and abusive. There's nothing they could do to save themselves. Is this Ariane's phone number, correct? How are you doing? By the way, my name is Martha, in case you were wondering. I simply wanted to play a little game with you and see if you could guess who I'm now with. Well, I'm actually sitting next to your own darling husband right now. Anyway, he won't be coming back home to you tonight, which may or may not be necessary. In case you were wondering, we're both spending the night in a fantastic hotel. But don't bother answering if all you're going to do is whine. I'm not going to let anything ruin my evening. In fact, I think I'll switch off my phone right now and spend more time with your husband. Don't worry, I'll let you know how things went in the morning. Ariane, hello! Are you still up? We hadn't gotten a wink of sleep. We were too busy fighting all night. Oh, we're both so tired now that I feel like I'm about to pass out. Anyway, I apologize for stealing your husband, but I doubt I'll be able to return him anytime soon. By the way, he stated that he simply goes straight to work from the hotel, so don't expect him to arrive at home. Just wanted to make sure you weren't too concerned.
Whoa. What occurred here? What do all of these signals mean?
Oh, Ariane. I was wondering when you'd decide to respond to me. My communications were not going to be read. I was wondering if you were just screening my messages as they came in, but I thought you had to know what happened by now, right?
Actually, I'm sorry. I hadn't read any of these texts until now because I was on a plane and wasn't checking my phone.
What? You were just on an aircraft, weren't you?
Yes, I just returned and finished going through customs. I only now found some free time to check for fresh communications.
So you recently returned from a trip abroad? Well, that does, however, clear up quite a few things for me.
I apologize. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So, I was wondering why your husband was so excited to meet me, but isn't it because you were on vacation?
Sorry, I still don't grasp it.
Do you not see? While you were on your little globe tour paid for by his money, your husband cheated on you. How does it make you feel?
I'm sorry, but I don't comprehend anything you said in those messages you sent me last night.
What exactly do you mean? What's not to understand after I laid it all out for you?
Anyway, I'm sorry for the delay in responding. I still haven't fully recovered from my return, and I need to get into the office, so I won't be able to react for a long
What? Hey, Ariane. What do you mean? Have you read my messages? What did you miss out on? What is happening now? I truly felt I put it out plainly for you to comprehend, so I'd like to know what portion exactly you don't understand. Oh. Wait a moment. I believe I get it. The truth is too terrible to face, therefore this is all a ruse to keep you from facing it. Isn't that it? So you were lying about being abroad because it was the only kind of justification you could come up with? Did you actually believe that? That is heartbreaking. I feel sorry for you. But I just wanted you to know that I have no intention of ending my relationship with your man. Anyway, I think you should divorce him within the next few months. I'd at least start prepared for it. That is, if you know what's good for you.
Edna, hello. How is everything going? I've returned from my vacation. I had just arrived and cleared customs.
Oh, Ariane. Welcome back. I hope all went well over there.
Thank you. And I just wanted to thank you once again for keeping an eye on Leon while I was away on business.
Oh, it's not a problem. After all, I barely noticed because we all live together. It was a delight.
Anyway, I appreciate it. And to express my gratitude, I purchased a slew of lovely tiny trinkets for my vacation.
Oh, you did that? You didn't have to do that, you know? But, now that you've arrived, do you need to return to the office?
Yes, I do. I have a few of highly crucial documents that must be secured before the end of the day. But because I don't have to make any reports about my trip until tomorrow, I was just going to pop by the office, drop off my documents, take care of a few things, and then head home. Just so you know, I should be home by the evening.
Oh, I see.
But there's something else I need to discuss with you, Edna. Something quite significant.
So, what exactly is it? What transpired? Are you all right?
Well, I'm not sure what to make of this lady who claims to be someone sleeping with my husband who messaged me out of nowhere.
What? Oh my goodness, Ariane, I'm very sad to hear that.
Anyway, this is simply a hunch of mine. I was hoping that you might be able to assist me in investigating this person and determining whether or not they are speaking the truth.
Yes, anything to assist you here. What are her names?
Her name is Martha.
Oh, Martha. Yes, I believe I remember her. Actually, didn't it come out last year that she divorced because she had a child who wasn't his? I've heard she's a single mother who lives alone. And I believe she couldn't tell us apart the first time I met her.
Wow, as usual, an incredible recollection. Yes, I believe that's the person. I had turned off my phone for the flight, but when I got home and went to check my messages, a slew of them from her filled my phone and laid everything out for me. I'm guessing she texted them all while I was flying with my phone turned off. Anyway, there were a few facts in her text that she got wrong, but it seemed like she was attempting to tell me she was having an affair with my husband.
I see. Given her history, I wouldn't put it past her.
I was hoping to show you some of the texts she sent me when I came home, but if you think it's better to look at them now, I can just screenshot them and send them to you.
Yes, that could be a better solution. Send them over right immediately.
Please wait a moment.
It's not a problem. Allow yourself plenty of time.
Hello, Ariane. Well, guess what? I'm with your hubby again tonight. I'm assuming from your silence toward me that you've simply accepted the situation as it is, and that I can then do anything I want. Do you ever wonder if getting cheated on is entirely your fault for being such a slacker? Perhaps it's time to face some unpleasant realities about yourself. Anyway, I need to get going because your husband and I have some hot and steamy business to attend to.
Hello, Ariane. I apologize for sending this everything by text, but he is in the next room. I figured you wouldn't want me having this chat in front of everyone.
No issue. So I'm assuming this is related to what we discussed earlier?
That was a few weeks ago. So I went to a private investigator and requested them to look into any kind of affair that might be going on between him and this Martha girl. Anyway, based on their findings, it appears that this affair began long before Martha wrote you all those messages.
I see. To be honest, I suspected it. I believe you were correct the first time you suspected him of cheating.
But that wasn't the only thing they discovered. One item in the investigation is simply too unbelievable to believe.
What? Don't just say that without revealing what it is. Spit it out.
No, I can't yell. It's too ridiculous. I don't know what to say.
Is it that bad? Oh my goodness, I'm almost afraid to inquire whether that's true.
It's so crazy that I think we should just talk about it in person while he's not in the next room. Anyway, I feel like it's all about to go downhill from here, so I'm sorry you're about to get sucked into some drama.
No, it's not a problem at all. I really hope you don't get embroiled in any of this and that you get through it all without being involved.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well.
Ha ha ha. I did it. I finally did it. Ariane, I finally found a reason for you to obtain a divorce.
Lady, mornings are hectic, so could we please make this quick? What are you looking for?
Oh, don't be that way. After all, I was just texting to let you know that I'm pregnant with your husband's child.
Please excuse me? What exactly did you just say?
Now that I'm the wife of a CEO, we won't have to worry about anything.
Are you expecting a child? Or perhaps the wife of a CEO? What do you mean? I'm having trouble keeping up with all of this garbage.
You're rather dull, aren't you? I bet you didn't see this coming. But it's true, I slept with your husband and became pregnant with his child in order to take your position as his wife and get all the benefits that come with having a wealthy husband. And now your man is entirely mine. As is your place by his side.
No, I mean, what are you even talking about right now? I'm completely befuddled right now.
Are you even listening? Can you read it all? Your husband and I slept together, and he got me pregnant. So, now that I'm pregnant, will you finally get a divorce?
You're insane, lady. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you kidding me? Are you truly illiterate? How could I possibly be any clearer than I am now?
No, of course I understand everything. It's simply that you've gotten so many things incorrect that I'm not sure where to start correcting you.
What? What went wrong? What do you mean? What could I possibly have missed in all of this?
The fact that my husband is not a CEO is arguably the most significant. In fact, he was relocated to his company's main branch about a year ago and has been so busy that he hasn't been able to visit home for the entire time.
What are you talking about? This is something I've never heard before.
You keep referring to my husband, but you're really referring to a man named Titus, right?
Titus is your husband. It's not going to work if you try to play these sneaky little games with me. I've done my research, I know you two reside in the same house, and I've been keeping an eye on you.
Titus is my brother-in-law.
Is that your brother-in-law?
That's correct. My sister was recently relocated here, so she and her husband are staying with me while they seek for a new home to reside. It's been so great having my sister here to keep me company while my hubby is abroad.
So there. That is to say.
That means the man you've been seeing is my sister's husband, my brother-in-law.
And now your man is entirely mine. As is your place by his side.
So, Martha, all of this has made me curious. Did you think I had 2 kids?
What? What made you think that? I never once mentioned your kids. But, indeed. While watching her apartment, I observed 2 children who appeared to be the same age. I assumed you had twins or something. Isn't that true?
Unfortunately, it is not. I have one child.
Oh, no. I honestly didn't know. What about the other child?
Of course, the other was my older sister's child.
Oh. I see. I suppose that makes sense.
Okay, I think I get what's going on here. You mistaken my older sister for me because we appear and age similarly.
What? No. That can't be right.
As previously said, my actual hubby has been gone on business for some time. So Titus, my brother-in-law, would be the only other adult guy staying with me. But I don't think you knew anything about my husband or that my sister and her family were staying here, so you just made assumptions.
I see. So, then. Titus' wife is your sister. That truly doesn't alter anything. I still hold the key to becoming a CEO's wife within me, and in the end, that's all this was all about.
You mentioned sleeping with the CEO earlier as well, but who are you referring to?
Isn't this self-evident? In either case, I'm still sleeping with the same CEO. I mean, Titus is the CEO of XY Corporation, so as long as I marry him, I can still call myself the wife of a CEO.
However, Martha, the CEO of XY, is a woman.
What? No! That is not correct.
After all, my sister Edna is the president of XY.
Oh my goodness! You must be fooling me!
Everything is on the company's website's top page. If you dig into it, you'll find that it's true.
So it goes. Titus, who is he?
He does, after all, work for one of XY's affiliate companies. But, contrary to popular belief, he is not near the levers of power. He's simply your average salaried worker.
What? No! That isn't correct. No way!
Oh, and there's one more thing I believe you should be aware of.
What? What else is there?
Well, I don't think the child you're carrying is even Titus's.
What did you say? How can you even make such a statement? Where is your proof?
Well, Titus can't have children, so that's my proof. Doctors agree.
What? What about your sister's children?
Titus' infertility manifested later in life. We didn't find out about it until he and Edna were attempting a second after having their first successfully.
You've got to be kidding me. That's why he was so unhappy when I told him he'd gotten me pregnant.
Yes, he must have recognized you were seeing men other than him in the midst of all your affairs. You have been unfaithful, and you will pay the price.
No. This isn't possible. And what if Titus finds out I've been cheating on him?
Anyway, I've received a message from my sister. She claims that it makes no difference whose child you have inside you, the fact remains that you and Titus had an affair. She also advised me to inform you that she intends to seek restitution for the affair.
No, she can't, can she? Titus, after all, is supposed to be a CEO, as he told me. But now I'm not even sure if he has enough money to cover my half of the compensation.
I think you're a little too hasty here. It makes no difference how many men you dated before because you're now pregnant with one of their children. So, instead of you getting married, all this sleeping around will lead to your bankruptcy, won't it?
No, don't say that!
Also, I believe Titus was planned on ending things with you anyhow. And he has already agreed to pay Edna's alimony and child support because she is taking the child with her in the divorce. However, it appears that you are on your own to pay what you owe.
But not with that type of money.
I believe you'll agree that I'm correct about mulling it over, however. This shouldn't have been so difficult to figure out if you just thought about it.
Oh, you're going to attempt that line on me again? So, whatever. There are more vital matters to attend to right now. What should I do, for example?
Don't bother asking. I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
I'm sorry, but I don't have anyone right now.
Anyway, I'm leaving now.
I'm not even sure whose child this is anymore.
The bizarre aspect Edna withheld from me was that Martha was reportedly having affairs with other guys at the same time. Following our conversation, Martha was presented with a hefty compensating fine. While Martha was trying to figure out who the real father of her child was, she created such a scene that she ended up outing every single man she was seeing to their wives. Finally, she discovered who the father was. But he was a married guy, and his wife had no idea. Martha's parents decided to disinherit her after she gave birth because they were sick of ways she was behaved. Martha now works every day to save enough money to pay back her fine. I actually spotted Martha around town the other day. She appeared weary, and the looks she was once proud of had all faded. But she didn't seem to notice me. She just kept going with the same tired expression on her face,